Okay folks, let me give you a tour of my Buildout. This is a 2021 Toyota Highlander Hybrid Limited. When I first bought it, I swapped out the wheels with a lower trim model because I prefer the bigger white wall tires. I just mounted the Thule roof box. That should give me some extra coverage. Extra ability to carry cargo. So I just finished building out the bed platform. I removed the seat about a month ago, which was relatively easy to do. So I removed the second and third row seat and created a level platform. So let me open up the back. So I went back and forth on my design. I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do, but after watching a bunch of different YouTube videos, I decided to create a platform using half-inch plywood. A lot of people use slats. I decided to go with plywood. So the middle section, I'll show you the bit out later, is the pivot point. There is a structural cross beam, so I couldn't remove that. So I built around it, and that became the middle pivot point. So I broke it into 4 sections. In each section, I'm able to lift out the hatch so I can provide some storage. Under the third row seat, there was plenty of storage, but there's also some power junction box, and there's also a radio junction box as well, and a bunch of cables, which I'll try to cover up with foam to provide some padding underneath. Under the very back is the tools for the spare tires. So based on the pivot, I'm able to actually lift up the whole thing and get to the trunk, which it opens up, and all the tools are back there. So let me drop this back down. And to provide support for the middle section, I placed a half-inch by 4 by 48-inch piece of hardwood underneath, and that provides a support under the middle section of the back part. And then I built out the frame, covered everything up with area carpet, which turned out relatively nice. So let me get to the other side. So I did make a mistake. I created a platform over top of the hybrid battery, so nothing would sit on the hybrid battery itself. I realized that Toyota probably built a cage around the hybrid battery to protect it, but I also didn't want to put any weight on it as well. So I don't know if you can see it, but it goes all the way through, and I put support where the seat rails were. So all the support is actually sitting on the frame of the car itself, and nothing is resting on the hybrid battery. I also used some, I think there were door pivots underneath the 2 middle ones that locks into the bolt hole, so it'll help prevent the platform from shifting forward if I do a hard brake. It's also tied into the middle platform as well. I also made it so that, that I can raise this up and using actually a climbing carabiner, I can clip it to the back and it provides essentially almost a 45-degree lounge chair, so I can actually look out the back. Underneath the front section is some storage space. I initially thought about making this a drawer, a pull-out drawer box using soft closing rails, but I decided to just go with a box for now. In the future, I may decide to take this out and make a drawer as well. I got these containers from Target, and they're just perfect. They matched everything, the colors, and it provides plenty of storage. I haven't filled everything out yet, but eventually I will. In this section above or behind the driver's seat, I want to put the power station battery. And then over there will be the fridge. So let me lower this back down. Now it may be a little annoying when I get out. If I back of my leg actually hits this part, but I'll see. I may decide in the future, if it does, to cut this back and push it back so that won't be on any sort of annoyance. So since I decided not to go with a drawer box, each section lifts out. I also bought this ribbon from I think Walmart. It's just a decorative ribbon, but it's strong enough to actually just pull up the lid, so I can actually access it from any side. Same thing as here. And then I did extra fabric just to cover up the door hinges. So I also bought these curtains. So these curtains will draw out and cover up the back as needed, so it'll provide extra privacy. So let me put the equipment in and I'll show you the rest. So when I was building the platform, one of the difficulties I had was trying to figure out how to level the bed platform. I'm working from my mom's driveway, which has a very large slope. I don't know if you can tell. So I pulled out to the street, which is relatively level. And then I would place a large level on the ground, figure out where the bubble is. This is too sloped. But on the street, it was more like this. And then I will put another level on the bed platform and make sure the bubble match, so that at least the platform is level with the road, so that overall everything should be level if I was parked on a level ground. Now continuing on, so I put my bed in. These are 2-inch foam mattresses that I bought from Costco. I'll provide a link down below. Sometimes Costco carries them, sometimes they don't. I slept on just one of these and it was relatively comfortable, but I decided to get super comfortable by buying a second one. So I have 4 inches of foam and it is super comfortable. Down below, I put in my power station, and I'll show that in a second, as well as the refrigerator, which is on the other side. And there's plenty of room, and there's plenty of room on the bottom as well. Like I said, I put these privacy curtains so with the drawstring, so I can have extra privacy if I need it. This is a mini fan that's battery operated, but I can also plug it into the power unit. And it's pretty powerful for the small area, and that should provide me with plenty of air. Additionally, because if anyone has slept in a car or in an enclosed space, there's condensation that builds up in the windows if you don't have any sort of fresh air coming in. So I bought these nettings. These are nettings that essentially just slide right over the window, and I can crack the window. I've done that before and it worked perfectly. But I've also bought this netting that goes on top of the sunroof. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. And from inside, you can see there's, so I can actually crack or leave the sunroof open. And I should get plenty of air through there as well. Now for window covering, for the front window, I just bought a regular car shade. And it is fine. It also will be less noticeable when I park someplace with the front windshield, with the windshield cover on with commercial ones, because that's pretty much standard. It also came with these little suction cup screens that actually worked out very well when I was driving. It provided some shade so my arm didn't get burned. And for complete privacy, I built these window coverings. I mean, it didn't take much. It only took about a day to all of them. And I'll show you. And on one side is black felt cover, which is essentially a felt furniture cover that I bought from Home Depot. And the other one is essentially a bubble insulation I also bought from Home Depot, and they were relatively inexpensive. And essentially I just cut out the reflectors to size, and then use spray glue and just essentially just stuck it right onto the fabric, and then cut the fabric, and it turned out well. Let me get to the other side. And on the back is mosquito netting, so I can actually leave the whole back open, and if I want to sleep or just enjoy lounging on the back and just looking out the back, because the front will actually, I can prop it up 45 degrees so that I can just use it as a lounge and just park by the beach or by the cliff or the mountains, whatever, and then these zips up and down as well. These are held in place by strong magnets. I think I got a size slightly too big, but I think it'll be fine. I wasn't quite sure exactly what size to get, so I'll link this as well. Okay, going back to the window covering. So if you look on one side where the black felt is completely pitch black. You can't see through it, and it's essentially incognito. And then this is the reflector side. So there's a little bit of painter tape. I use that as essentially to mark which goes which, and to essentially help pull the cover off as well. I also so these are also essentially wrote what they were as well. Since both the front windows and the back windows are identical, I just flip them around. If I need to put the felt on the outside, I just put this on the other window, and vice versa. So as far as creature comfort, I got the fan that I showed you. I also got this little mini heater. It's relatively small and it plugs in. So that should be fine for the small space. So I don't have to essentially run the car. Although I can run the car as a hybrid, essentially a mobile generator. I have a 120 watt outlet, 120 volt outlet that has 1500 watts. So I can actually plug in the hairdryer if I need to. And essentially I'll use this to recharge my power station. That's why I'm not getting a solar panel at this time, because I can always charge, just run the car for about an hour, and that should recharge the power station up to 80%. I also found this at Target, essentially a small toaster oven. Let me see. It only takes 500 watts. It's just one slice, but that should be good enough. And it's tiny. I also got this little lunchbox warmer. So it has a hot plate in here. You plug it in, you put your food in, you close it up, and it should warm up the food. Okay, now here are my fridge and my power bank on the right. You can actually plug this in, turn on the AC outlet. And hold on, okay, and then it's just starting up. I don't know if you can see it. I initially use, so this freezes relatively quickly. I had it in Fahrenheit setting, and it wasn't regulating. Oh, it's a lock. Hold on. Gotta press both up and down button to unlock, and then I can set it to move up and down. Okay, now it's not doing it. It's just switched back to the Fahrenheit, but it's not. But anyway, essentially was completely freezing the water bottles I had in here, and wasn't regulating the temperature. It's pretty deep actually, so I should be able to put a good amount, at least a couple days worth of food in here. I also bought these thermostats to make sure the temperature, so you see what the regulated temperature was. So when so it was actually freezing within about 20 minutes. It got down to, there it is. So now it's Fahrenheit. When I put it to Fahrenheit and try to put it at 40 degrees, it would go down to like -5 degrees Fahrenheit. It just like froze everything within like 20 minutes. So I decided to switch to Celsius because I figured the rest of the world uses Celsius, so the programmers might have just programmed everything in Celsius and not in Fahrenheit, and it seems to work. It's off. I have to set it to -3 degrees Celsius to get it to about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the temperature you want for your refrigerator. I had this running all night long, and I had about 40% battery left. You could tell that it's drawing about 45 or 46 watts. So another thing I bought was this electric kettle. Wanted to be able to boil water for tea and coffee in the morning, and for meals. A lot of people use jet boils or stove, but I found that this was the fastest. It's a 1-quart size. It was actually cheap at Target. I'll see if we can find it on Amazon and link that as well. And it takes about 1.5 minutes to essentially boil water. And you can tell it does draw power. It's about 1,300 watts. Actually, let me unplug the refrigerator. So about 1,200-ish watt, but in about 1 minute or so, it starts to boil the water. So it's relatively quick. So 1,200 watts for 1 minute, that should be fine. Now I could also plug in this power unit to the car socket, or just use the car socket as well for other outlets. Now this one is actually pretty good. It also comes with a little light bar here, so you can actually use that. It also has USB ports, has 6 AC outlets, which is awesome. I think this is a better battery than the Jackery, which is the most popular one. Yep, you can see the water boiling. Hear the water boiling. it uses a different battery technology. It makes the battery heavier, but the life cycles, the number of cycles that you can go through. So this one, Anchor says, is guaranteed for over 3,000 lives or cycles. So this should last about 10 years. Considering the price of this, I think I paid like $1,400 for it. I think it's well worth it. I mean, it's expensive, but you get what you get. So see? All right, continuing on. Another equipment that I bought was Starlink. You know, it's about $135 a month for service. So it's a little on the pricey side when it comes to high-speed internet. But when you're out in the middle of nowhere, you know, having internet or any sort of communication is valuable. Comes to the dish. Here's the base. I ordered the case. Now, of course, not anything Starlink related is sort of pricey. This was, I think it's like $600 to buy. It's a little dirty. The antenna. So, which is pretty cool. And then it comes with a router. Now, it comes with 75 feet of cable, which I think is a little long, but it should be fine. Now, when I actually plugged it in, it draws about 40 watts of power. So, I mean, unless I run it all night long, it should be fine as well. Another item that I'm probably going to be taking with me on my travels is some tools. So these are Milwaukee 12-volt battery tools. So they're pretty compact. So I have this in a case. I bought this a few years ago. It was a 2-in-1 set. It came with the drill, which I've been using to build the platform, as well as the impact driver. And you should all carry a bunch of Allen wrenches too, with the different headsets. These are torque wrenches, Allen wrenches, and these are specialty drill bits as well. So, also bought these as I'm building. Let's figure. Uses the same battery, so that was great. I don't want to buy a bunch of tools with different batteries. This is an electric stapler. Awesome, awesome. I essentially stapled all of that, the carpet onto the board, and never had to recharge the battery. And it saves you on like your hand. Like I said, it's awesome. And then bought a jig. You also use the same battery, so for like essentially cutting anything is perfect as well. So that is all the tools I bought. Now the awning just arrived, so let me go and try to mount that onto the car and then show you as well. Okay, so my awning arrived and I was able to finally mount it. And so this is what it looked like. So let me show you what it looked like fully open. Okay, so I was able to extend it. And of course it's not completely tied down. So, but this gives you an idea of what the awning looks like when it's open. So, and once I tie it down, I should be able to make it taunt. Yeah, looks pretty good.